Welcome to Concept in Medicine. In today's tutorial, we are going to be looking at the Modified Naegele Rule. And the question is, what is the essence of this rule? This rule helps us to calculate the estimated date of delivery and pregnancy using the last menstrual period. Then with that, the question is, what then is the last menstrual period? So the last menstrual period is simply the first day of your last menstrual period. The last time you saw your period, the first day of that last time, the first day of your last menstrual period is what they call the last menstrual period. So to calculate the estimated date of delivery when you are pregnant, using the last menstrual period, that's the first day of the last menstrual period, we'll be using the Modified Naegele Rule. And for the Modified Naegele Rule, what is it equivalent to? The Modified Naegele Rule is equivalent to the last menstrual period, that's the date of the last menstrual period, that's the first day of the last menstrual period, that date, plus 9 months, plus 7 days, plus the difference. And what then is the difference? The difference is going to be the menstrual cycle length minus 28 days. Then the question goes, why are we saying that? The normal menstrual cycle length in an adult ranges from 21 to 35 days. But on an average, you have most females having their menstrual cycle length hovering around 28 days on an average. But it doesn't mean that if you're outside this boundary, you are abnormal. No, once it's regular, that is okay. 21 to 35 days is the range. But most females have their menstrual cycle length hovering around, on an average, 28 days. So that is why we are using the 28 days in this formula here. That is why we are using 28 days. Okay. So that being said, how then do we approach this? To approach it, first of all, we need to remember our poetry. When we were in kindergarten, we were taught a poem that is 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31 except February, which has 29 days in a leap year but 28 days in any other year. Then again, a leap year is every 4 years. So once we have the understanding like that, then we should be able to easily rectify to calculate the estimated date of delivery. So the poetry simply means that, remember that September, April, June, and November all has 30 days, except February. Except February, as we are saying, February will have 28 days as usual, but in a leap year it will have 29 days. In a leap year, in a leap, it will have 29 days. And what then is leap year? Leap year is every 4 years. Every 4 years. Every 4 years. Every 4 years is a leap year. So any year divisible by 4 is a leap year. So once we understand this, then it becomes easy for us to work. Now, anytime you are asked to calculate the estimated date of delivery and the menstrual cycle length is not given, always assume that it's 28 days. Always assume that it's 28 days. But if it is given, then you work with what you are given. So let's say a woman, currently pregnant, urine pregnancy test done is positive, serum beta hCG levels were elevated, indicating pregnancy. Her last menstrual period is 25th June 2021. What would be her estimated date of delivery? How do you go about that? So the date we said 25th June 2021. That's her last menstrual period. How do we use the Modified Naegele Rule to calculate the estimated date of delivery? So to do that, we know our EDD is equal to the last menstrual period, that's the date of the last menstrual period, plus 9 months, plus 7 days, plus the difference. So the difference in this case is going to be 0 because the menstrual cycle length, when it's not given, I said you should take it as 28. So to calculate the difference is menstrual cycle length minus 28. Now our menstrual cycle length here is 28. So that will give us 28 minus 28, giving us 0. It means for the difference is going to be 0. Now, how then do we go about it from there? So from there, we'll have our EDD to be equal to 25th June 2021. 25/6/2021 to start with. That will represent the last menstrual period. What are we going to be adding next? We'll be adding 9 months. And where do you add the 9 months? You add it at the category for months. So we are going to add it here plus 9. So the trick here is that if you add to the month, 6 plus 9 will give you 15. Anytime you are having the months greater than 12, because we know in a year there are 12 months. Anytime it's greater than 12, it means that you are going to do carry over onto the year. It means you are going to add 1 to the year. So this will give us 15. We have to subtract 12 from there. And the moment you are subtracting 12 from there, it means you are going to have here what? 3. But the year will become what? 2022, because we are doing carryover of 1 onto the year, and that will give us 2022. Then the day would remain the same. So after we've added the month, we are now having 25th March 2022. What are we going to do next according to the formula? We are supposed to add 7 days. And if you're adding the days, you always add it to the category for the days. So that will give us plus 7. And we'll have 32/03/2022. But you ask yourself, how many days are in March? And using our poetry, March definitely will have what? 31 days, because all the rest has 31 days. All the rest has 31 days. All the rest have 31 days. And the rest, March is inclusive. But if you look here, how many days are we having here? We are having 32, meaning that it's greater than the 31. And anytime the number of days is exceeding the number of days in that particular month, you would add 1 to the month. Means that there will be an overflow of 1, where there is going to be an overflow, and you add that overflow as 1 to the month. If the number of months exceeds 12, you will be adding 1 to the year. So in that case, we are going to have, how many days are in March? 31. So you have minus 31 here. So this will give us 0, 1. Because it's greater than the number of days in March, we are going to add 1 to the number of months, which will give us 4/2022. So in this case, her EDD will be 1st March 2022. Let's have a look at the next example, where a woman who is confirmed pregnant has a last menstrual period to be 25th May 2019. What will be her EDD? What will be her EDD? So her EDD, we know it should be equal to the last menstrual period, which we'll have as 25th May 2019. What are we adding next? We are supposed to add 9 months. So we'll add the 9 to the category of the month. If you add this, you have 14. But we know that 14 exceeds 12, which is the number of months in a year. So what we do, we'll subtract the 12 from there. What do we have? We'll have 0, 2. And because the 14 is greater than the 12, we'll carry 1 and add onto the year. So the year will become 2020. And the number of days, the day would still remain the same. What are we supposed to add next? We are supposed to add 7. Adding 7, where do we add it? We'll add it to what? The days. But again, in that scenario, we know that 25 plus 7 will give us 32. 02/2022. 2020, sorry. 32. 25 plus 7 will give us 32. And the 02 will still be here, 2020. But in this category, we'll ask ourselves, how many days are in February? Then bear in mind, the year 2020 is divisible by 4. Hence, it's a leap year. And in a leap year, how many days are in February? 29. So we'll be subtracting 29 from where? The 32. And because 32 is greater than the 29, definitely we are going to add 1 onto the month. So this will give us 03. We'll add 1 onto the month because there's an overflow. So we'll have 03/2020. So that will mean that her EDD, which is the estimated date of delivery, would be equivalent to 3rd March 2020. So once again, the trick here is that if you have the date A, B, C, if you have the date to be A, B, C, where A is the day, B is the month, and C is the year. Anytime you have the month exceeding 12, you add +1 to the year. Anytime you have the days exceeding the number of days in the month, you add +1 to the month. That is the trick. I believe we've gotten it. Let's move ahead and look at other examples where the menstrual cycle length is not equal to 28. In this scenario, it's equal to 28. That's why our difference was 0. So adding 0, it will not make any difference. Let's move ahead and look at examples where the length of the menstrual cycle is more than or less than 28 days. So let's have a look at the next example. You may want to solve them before we have a look at the final solution. So you can pause the video and find the solution before we have the real solution. There are two examples that we are looking at which you are supposed to solve. The first one is a woman who is confirmed pregnant, has a history of 32 days regular menstrual cycle, and her LMP was 22nd June 2020. There are another woman whose LMP is also 22nd June 2020, but has a history of 26 days regular menstrual cycle, is confirmed pregnant. What will be her estimated date of delivery? So kindly solve that. All right, let's move ahead and look at the solution. So we'll have a look at the first one. For the first one, our EDD will be equal to, we'll take the last menstrual period, which is 22nd June 2020. What are we adding next? 9 months. Where do we add it? The category of month plus 9. If we add that, this will give us 15. 15 is greater than 12, so we'll subtract the 12 from it. And what would it give us? It will give us 03 by the year. Because it's greater than 12, we'll add 1 to the year. So we have 2021. Then the 22 will still be represented as such. Then the next thing we are going to be adding is going to be 7 days plus the difference. But the difference, what's the difference? The difference is going to be, in this case, we are going to have 32 minus 28, which will give us 4 days. So if we add 7 plus 4 days, that will give us 11 days directly. So what are we going to do next? We are supposed to add the days to the category of days. So how many days are we adding? 11. So we have 11. So this will give us 33, 03, 2021. Then we ask ourselves, in the month of March, how many days are there? Definitely 31 days. So we have 31. The moment the number of days here exceed the number of days in a month, what do? We'll be adding 1 to the next category, which will be the month. So we are going to have 33 minus 31, that will give us 02. Because it is greater than this, we'll be adding 1 to the month. So that will give us 4, 2021. So in that case, we will have 2nd April 2021. 2nd April 2021. I hope you've gotten that. All right, let's look ahead and look at the solution set for the next one, where we are saying that a regular menstrual cycle, which is 26 days, and currently pregnant, LMP was 22nd June 2020. What will be her estimated date of delivery? So once again, we are going to have it as such. The EDD will be equal to 22nd of June 2020. What do we add next? Definitely 9 months. So we have 9. So this will give us 22nd, 15, 2020. But again, the 15 is greater than the 12 months in a year. So we'll subtract the 12 months from there. So we have minus 12. And add, once it's greater than the 12 months, definitely we are going to add 1 to the year. So this will give us 22nd March 2021. What are we adding next? we are adding 7 days plus the difference, which is also going to be in days. Then the question is, what will be the difference? The difference here, we are going to have the difference to be equal to, what is the number of days? 26. So we have 26 minus 28, which will give us minus 2. So in that case, if we add minus 2 to 7 days, it means we are going to have 7 minus 2, which will give us 5. So what are we adding to the days now? We are only going to add 5. So where do we add it? To the category of days. So we have plus 5. So this will give us 27th March 2021 as the estimated date of delivery. I hope we've gotten that. To use the modified Naegele's rule, you always have to remember that the menstrual cycle has to be regular, without which we cannot use the modified Naegele's rule. So remember that the menstrual cycle has to be regular. Whether it's 28 days, 26 days, 29, 32, or whatever, remember that it should be regular. And I told you, for adults, the menstrual cycle length ranges from 21 to 35 days. Then the next question is, what is the menstrual cycle? Menstrual cycle means from the beginning of one menstrual period to the beginning of the next menstrual period. That's what we call the menstrual cycle length. All right, I believe you've learned something new today. Kindly make sure to subscribe to my channel, like, share, and also comment the next concept you would like to see on my channel. My name is Dr. Dale, and this is Concept in Medicine. Bye-bye.